What's the best way to stay on your diet and not eat the whole cake that you make for the video? I don't know. Maybe don't take the parchment paper off the layer of cake and build the cake with the parchment paper in it. I took my bakery yellow cake recipe again. You guys are familiar with that, and it is absolutely perfect with an addition of key lime juice to the batter. It makes beautiful cupcakes with my 222 cream cheese icing that I'm going to tell you all about. I've also tested it out as a loaf cake, and as you can see, it is perfect. So I'm going to ice that with a real quick cream cheese icing. I can't wait to show you guys all of these different variations, so I have to sort of focus my brain because honestly, I did get a little bit crazy here with the key lime everything, including some cake layers. Now this is going to be my mojito cake. So key lime cake batter, we are going to make a very light mint simple syrup with rum buttercream for this layer cake, and we're going to turn this thing into a mojito cake. So first things first, we do have to mix the super easy bakery style yellow cake recipe that we're going to be adding in some key lime juice. Now, if you guys don't know the difference between lime and key lime, basically it's right here. This is a regular lime and this is a key lime. Now what's the difference? Limes typically are going to be more acidic, whereas the key lime has a very subtle acidity and it's slightly sweeter. It's really great if you can get your hands on it. Now, this you can find in the store, maybe. I actually couldn't. This I had in my pantry from last year, believe it or not. So I used up this whole bottle on all the testing for these different types of cake recipes. And then for the final one for today, I had to go ahead and buy some little key limes that I juiced myself. And that's going to go into the yellow cake batter. So let's go ahead and mix that right away. You'll see how easy it is to do. So you guys know that I use this cake recipe more often than not, and I always take this as a base and transform it into all the different variations on cake because it just really is the best and it's the easiest to mix. So I've talked about this cake recipe at length in some other videos. And as usual, all the recipes are linked below this video at my website at gretchensveganbakery.com. So I have the all-purpose flour with the baking soda, some salt, and I've mixed it with the sugar. By mixing the flour and the sugar together, once you pour in the wet ingredients, that's going to ensure that you don't get like chunks of flour. So here I have my soy milk, and I'm going to add my freshly squeezed key lime juice to that. Now you can use any plant milk that you prefer, but soy milk is the only plant milk that will sour to create sort of like a mock buttermilk, which is really nice for this recipe. I already have my oven preheating to 350 degrees, and since I've already made all of these other, loaves and layers and cupcakes, this particular one I'm going to bake it into a sheet cake. So that was butter and oil mixed together. And now I'm going to add in my plant milk and key lime juice, and that's how simple it is to make this recipe. Now, obviously, I've put some green food color into the batter for that little green tinge. I mean, you don't have to do that. It's just something about green food that I absolutely love. So I'm going to add a drop of food color to give it that authentic key lime tinge. And I'm also going to be zesting in the zest of a lime. I know I'm weird, but there's something about green food that I just absolutely love. So if you didn't want to use the the artificial food dye. I have in the past used green spirulina as a natural food color, and it works perfectly fine that way too. So this is a 9" by 9" pan, and I'm baking all the batter into that. And this is going to be a very thick cake sheet. So my oven is preheated to 350. We're going to get that right in. And then I'm going to ice up this loaf cake and talk about my 222 cream cheese icing. Okay, so what's the deal with the 222 cream cheese icing that I keep gushing about? Well, number one, it's delicious. Number two, well, actually, this should be number one because it's no cream cheese required. It's a no refrigeration cream cheese icing. No vegan cream cheese required, and it's 3 ingredients. And the reason why I call it 222 is because that is how you remember the ratio. You don't even need to go print my recipe because how could you forget 222? It is 2 pounds of butter, 2 pounds of confectioner's sugar, 2 teaspoons of lactic acid. That is the secret ingredient to making this. I'm telling you, you would not know that there's no cream cheese in this recipe. It is so fantastic. That lactic acid really gives this recipe such a tang to make it taste like authentic cream cheese icing. So if you haven't tried it yet, you really should. If you can't get vegan lactic acid, you can instead use apple cider vinegar, but it really doesn't do it justice. In my opinion, the lactic acid is the winning ingredient to this recipe. So 222, no cream cheese, vegan cream cheese icing. It's amazing. So while our sheet cake is baking and I'm gearing up to do the mojito cake, let's take a slice of this key lime loaf with the 222. Ooh, look at that texture. Oh my God, here, can you see this? See that? I don't know if it's focusing in, but man, look at the texture on this cake. Oh, there it is. Oh yeah. So why really did I make all of these different variations? I guess because I just really wanted to show you guys that it's just so possible to make so many different things from one really awesome base recipe. And this key lime cake is one really awesome base recipe. Now this is still a little bit warm and I may be taking a very big risk by being impatient and unmolding this like right now. It's still too warm for me to ice, but woo, it didn't fall apart. Okay, so you can see just like how perfect the structure of this cake is, but I'm gonna go ahead and let this cool so that I can ice it up, and then we're gonna get started on the mojito layer cake. I promise you, we're gonna get there. So the mojito cake is really a very simple cake to make. It's 3 different flavors. If you've never had a mojito before, it is a really refreshing drink. It does have rum in it, but you really can't taste the rum because the lime and the mint get muddled together, and then some soda water is added to it with some sugar, typically in the form of a simple syrup, which is actually what I've done. I've made a very light mint syrup that I'm going to soak the layers, and then the rum gets added to the buttercream. So, you know, the first time I ever had a mojito was way back in 1995. I took a trip to California, and we drove up the coast to Oregon, and we stopped in on this little, I'm pretty sure it was in Oregon, it was this little small town, and we stopped in to this old bar, and I'd never even heard of a mojito before, and so we ordered the mojito, and the bartender was like, okay, I'll be right back, I just have to run up to the roof to get the mint, the fresh mint, and he muddled it with the lime right in front of us, and oh, it was so refreshing. So it's really a good drink, and this key lime cake is so refreshing that I love these flavors together. So as you see, it's a really simple cake to build. Damn, I talked too much and I completely forgot to put, okay. What the hell am I doing here? Damn, I just was talking so much that I completely forgot to soak my cake with my mint syrup. You guys, I am so all over the place with this cake recipe today that my brain is shorting out. That's okay though. I can totally scrape off this buttercream and we can save. No one will ever know. That's why you don't let anybody in the kitchen with you, because if they saw what you were actually doing to pull all this off, all right, we could totally save this. Wow. I knew I was feeling a little bit off today, and perhaps because I'm all over the place with trying to show you guys like way too many variations on this one recipe, plus talking about stories from close to 30 years ago. I forgot all about the mint syrup. All right, let me rewind this and start over again. I'm gonna flip this cake over and no one will ever know. So I'm just going to lightly brush my cake with the mint syrup. Mint can tend to be really overpowering, so I went very light on the mint on this one. It's just a really subtle back note. The lime is going to come through, and the rum is a very small amount too. Okay, now I can add my mint, my rum buttercream. Wow, I am like in key lime chaos right now from all of these different recipes that I made. Maybe I shouldn't attack so many at once to try to show you guys all the different variations. I hope I didn't confuse you as much as I'm now confused. But hey, that was a good save. Last little brushing of the mint, and then I'm gonna go ahead and ice this and maybe stop talking a little bit so I can gather my thoughts. But comment below and let me know what you think about all of these recipes, specifically this mojito cake. Is there something that you would do differently? And have you ever made a mojito cake? And yeah, I really look forward to your comments below. So let me go ahead and ice this and decorate this up. I have a really nice, simple design in mind. So now for the moment we've all been waiting for. I'll tell you what, the hardest part of this whole entire process is getting the first slice so that it looks good enough that you guys are going to want to make this. Let's put the taste to the test and see if that really is true. I think it really is true. Perfect amount of lime in the cake batter. That texture, that fluffy cake batter texture. If you don't make this entire mojito cake from start to finish, I really recommend that you make this key lime cake batter. It is so good. So whether you keep it simple and just make the sheet cake style with the 222 cream cheese icing, or make cupcakes, or just turn it into a loaf cake. I mean, this cake recipe is so super versatile. The possibilities are endless. I know you're going to love it. So as always, grab the recipe at GretchensVeganBakery.com. Thank you so much to everyone for being here and sticking through this video that really just kind of seemed like chaos, at least to me anyway. But I do want to just sign off with a great big thank you, as always, to my patrons on Patreon and my pals in PayPal for making all of this possible. Literally, the amount of ingredients that went into testing these recipes these last 2 weeks was unbelievable. But I did perfect it, as always, so that you have no fail results every time. So let's give a great big round of applause to the patrons and PayPal pals who are funding this effort so that we all can just grab the recipe and go and not have to worry about tweaking and figuring out. Leave that stuff up to me. As always, the best vegan baking at GretchensVeganBakery.com. And until next time, guys, happy vegan baking. Bye for now. I couldn't figure out when I was cutting this cake on the video, you guys, why I couldn't cut through this cake. I mean, I played it off pretty good while I was filming, but look at this. The whole friggin' paper is still in the layer. Can you believe this? Who else has ever done this? I have to say, this is a first. In my 25+ years of baking, this is a first. But it prohibited me from eating this whole cake. Diet hack number 147.